Hey, Hugh here, and welcome to this video where we're going to be talking about the video sales letter framework. And this is for high ticket offers. So if you're a coach, consultant, or agency owner, this video is going to be super useful for you. In this video, I'm going to break down where VSLs actually fit into marketing strategies because that has changed over the last few years. I'm also going to be talking about how to actually script a VSL, and I'm going to use one of my VSLs as an example, and then also how to maximize the results from your VSL so you can get the most amount of calls booked from it. So there's something we can do after actually implementing the VSL to get more calls booked. So first of all, where VSLs fit into your marketing strategy. So the video sales letter is a great kind of bottom of funnel piece to send people so they, one, understand your offer, how you can help them, and a bit about your results or your experience in the industry. And secondly is to give them a call to action to book a call. So this is all part of the IG growth funnel. Now, if you haven't watched this video training already and you don't understand what this is, then I'm going to link it below because it's super important that you understand the overall strategy behind this and where this fits in. But this specifically is around the lead conversion phase of the IG growth funnel. We've generated the lead, we have them in Messenger, we've nurtured them, we've had a conversation, and then we have sent them this piece to get them to book a call, right? Now, this is actually quite different from what people used to do with VSLs, myself included. So I actually used to build VSL funnels for people, and they would work for a while. This was a really good strategy a few years ago, especially during COVID, where everyone was going online. But what happened during that time is because so many people went online, and especially a lot of people, talking about huge claims online, they've been thrown around all over the internet. What that did is it built distrust in the marketplace. People weren't as open to hearing about offers, and they kind of knew the drill. After a while, most people, even like the general population, they understood what was going on in this funnel, and so they didn't really want to just go in and book a call. And what happened was lead costs went up, and conversions on the VSLs went down. And this was across different markets. So I was running ads in, B2B, B2C, BizOp, and the same was universal, happened across the board. And so that's where personal branding comes in, building relationships and deepening trust in Messenger before actually sending somebody a VSL, right? So if you can have a conversation and a few touch points with someone before they actually see your VSL, they're going to be more likely to actually watch it. And they're also going to be more likely to take action from it, which is really, really important. So it means you're going to get more calls booked, but it also means the people that are booking calls are actually more qualified as well. Whereas in the past, what we would do with a typical VSL funnel is they'd see an ad, they'd go to an opt-in page, they'd put their name, email, sometimes phone number, they'd watch a VSL for 10 minutes, and then either book a call or just not doing anything at all. So what I want to do now is actually go through the VSL framework, and this is going to be quite technical and hands-on. So you can, pause the video, write some of this down, and I would really recommend scripting this out. This is actually what I do for my clients. I help them do a deep dive into their messaging and their offer, and I actually script this out for them so they have this. And this is anywhere from 8 to 20 minutes, depending on the client. Usually in a B2B offer, try and keep this short and sharp, like under 10 minutes. If you have a B2C or biz op type offer, this is where it can be a little bit longer and you can go a little bit deeper into some of these key points. So number one, the first thing we're doing is what's called a market call out. That's actually supposed to say call out. Realize it says all out, but market call out. So in the first few seconds, what we're doing is we're addressing who the video is for as specifically as you can. So what I mean by that is there's an example where, there's a difference between saying this is for business owners versus this is for businessmen on the brink of divorce, right? And this is like from a marketing campaign that I ran for a client previously who was a health coach, and they work with men who, specifically businessmen who were kind of like just going all out in business. They weren't looking after their health. They weren't there for their family, and they were kind of like literally on the brink of divorce, right? So it's a huge pain point for them. And they were previously marketing like this, speaking really broadly. And what we did is we got them really dialed in. So that applies to their overall marketing strategy as well. But specifically with the VSL, we want to speak to somebody specifically, right? So for my own offer, it's coaches and consultants above 10K a month. I will help you run simple ads Actually, sorry, this is actually breaking down into the next part. So basically who I'm speaking to is coaches above 10K a month, right? So what that means is they are at a certain level, they're making six figures in their business, or at least six figures projected, and they're looking to scale, right? Because the coaching market is massive. There's so many people who would identify as a coach. If I just said coaches, that speaks to everybody. That speaks to all the people who want to start a coaching business or have like one or two clients, but they're not really at the stage that I would need them to be to work with me, right? My offer would not make sense for them. And so I don't want to waste my money on ads and waste my time and content and things like that, speaking to the wrong people. It's also not useful for them because this type of content is quite high level and it's not going to apply to somebody who's an absolute beginner. So next is your offer or your promise. So the next section, we want to deliver out our offer or promise as simply as possible. So understanding what the desire is of your market. So there's a few examples here. It's like, I'll help you save your marriage without therapy. I'll help you build a $50,000 a month marketing agency. I'll help you run simple ads to sign 5 to 10 dream clients per month using an IEG growth funnel. So that's my specific offer right now. And really, you want to try and quantify this as much as possible, right? So even here where it says save your marriage, that, whilst that might not seem as like tangible as say making $50,000 a month, or if you're a weight loss coach, it's like dropping 10 kilograms, it's quite binary, right? They're either married or they're divorced. It's kind of black and white, it's binary, it's one or the other. So that's still quantifiable. So that's one thing you want to think about. The next thing is results. So this doesn't have to be super long. You just want to bullet point a few results. If you're, for example, you're jumping into a new offer, you've got something else you're launching, then it might be where you actually talk about your own story, or you can just use your own results if that's like super relevant for your market. If you are B2C or BizOp, that's where your story and your own results are going to play in more. For me, because I run an agency, it's B2B. I use more of my clients' results because that's actually more impressive than my own results. It's also just more relative to what people are doing as well. So examples is like, you just want to list this off kind of quickly. You don't want to spend too long doing this. So this is the same approach I use to help my clients Remote Fit Pro scale to 250K a month, TRA scale to 100K months, and my client Josh launch ads for the first time and make a 6x return on ad spend, right? So I'm just listing that off really quickly. It's just to tick a mental tick box in somebody's mind to say, okay, this person's legit, they know what they're talking about. This is where we start diving a little bit deeper into the understanding and connecting with somebody, which is explaining the problem. And what this really does is it gets them bought in for what we're about to teach them in the methodology. So a good way to do that is list out what they've tried before that didn't work. So you're kind of throwing rocks at things that didn't work. And the reason that's good is if you think about like the vast majority of people will connect more on negativity than they will positivity, right? That's just the state of the world, and that's the state of our minds. And so what we want to do is we actually want to use that to our advantage. And we want to talk about the things that didn't work for them. And that's going to get them bought in to listen more to the solutions that we offer them. So for my market, it's like what they tried before that hasn't worked. It's like they're doing VSL funnels or webinar funnels or free challenge funnels or grown a Facebook group, or they're relying solely on organic marketing, right? And these things work to a degree, but they're not that effective. And especially in 2023, we're going into 2024, these things are going to become less and less relative, especially these things. What I also do is explain why it didn't work, right? So for all of these, a lot of these, or for these ones anyway, these are kind of like what I call all or nothing marketing strategies. So leads kind of buy or die. There's no like brand building. There's no ongoing kind of nurturing in place. Leads go through the funnel and they either sign up or they don't, right? And then these are very, very slow and they're limited on growth. So we want to kind of tackle that head on. What this also does, it opens a loop in someone's mind to say, okay, well, if none of this works, then what does work, right? Because you've kind of listed everything they've tried. They might have felt like they've tried everything themselves. So what we want to do is we just want to identify like that gap that they haven't tried yet. And in their mind, they're going to say, okay, well, I'm going to listen because I want to find out like what the actual secret sauce is to this. So this moves us on to section 5, which is the 3 shifts. And I call this like your methodology. And this is where you break down the bridge between their current pain points, which we call like the prison, and the desired, results that they want, which we call paradise, right? So if you think about this as 2 islands, you've got an island over here, which is like prison islands, and they're stuck on there with all their problems and everything they're trying that's not working out and they're failing. And, across the sea, they see paradise, right? They can see it from a distance. There's this paradise island. It looks amazing. It's got everything they want to achieve in their life. But right now, they have no way of getting from Prison Island to Paradise Island. And so what we want to do is we want to bridge the gap between those two, right? And we do that through our methodology. So there's a framework which is A to B through C. So A is the problem that they're facing, B is the result that they want, and C is the methodology specific to you and what you do to get them there. So for me, the way I do this, I kind of went through this earlier in my own framework with the IG growth funnel. So this is the overall kind of strategy, the IG growth funnel, but it's broken down into 3 parts. It's like the problem lead generation solves is, or the problem that people are facing is they're not generating enough leads. And the result of, going through this system is that they're going to get more than enough leads. Next is lead nurture. So it's like they might get leads, but they're speaking to people that are not qualified, right? People are like, they're hesitant, they're time wasters, they're broke, they've got no money to invest. And so the result of that is actually you're speaking to people who are super qualified, who are most likely to want to work with you, right? That's the lead nurture section. And then lastly is the lead conversion. So maybe, the problem for some people is they're not getting enough calls booked. And so what lead conversion does is it allows you to get consistent qualified calls booked, right? So overall, that's how this system works. And that's how I break it down in the methodology. But you need to apply this specific to what you do. And you want to simplify this as much as possible. The biggest mistake I see a lot of coaches and consultants make is they put their expert hat on and they talk really, really technical about all this stuff and they lose people. It doesn't make sense to people. Something that I talk to my clients about all the time is using what I call toddler talk. So imagine that you are explaining this to a toddler, right? It sounds a little bit weird, but like if you can do that, then it's going to make sense to a lot of people. If you're trying to speak to somebody who's at the same level of understanding as you are, then they're probably not going to be wanting to hire you anyway because they already understand this, right? So you need to be explaining this in a simplified manner so that they actually understand it. And then lastly, this is a really kind of simple way to wrap everything up, is section 6, which is call to action. And what we want to do is we want to get them to book a call. And you can either directly, if you have a page with this on, or where you're hosting the video, you have a link to your calendar, you can say, hey, click the link below. Or if you want, you can prompt them to reply to you on Instagram with a specific keyword, right? But what we want to do is we want to position the call properly. So we don't want to just say, hey, if you like this, book a call. We want to say, if you are this type of person that we spoke about at the start and you want to achieve this result in this time frame, then let's jump on a call and we will map out a game plan together, right? That's super useful. And there's different ways you can kind of word this, but really it's like a game plan, a strategy, or build clarity. Like the goal of that call is actually to help somebody, right? It's not, hey, jump on this call and I'm going to sell you, right? Because that's what's at the back of most people's mind. They've seen this stuff before. They think that you're just going to pitch them. But what you want to do is you want to position it as you helping them. And that should also be your mindset, by the way. Like if you're doing sales, like for me, I don't look at sales calls really as sales calls. I look at it as like a value call. And my goal on that call is whether somebody works with me or not, I want them to jump off that call feeling more clear and more certain in themselves than they did prior to jumping on the call, right? That should be your mindset going into a call. It shouldn't be to try and belittle people and just try and bully them into joining your program. That's not what this is about. So that call to action, really simple, really powerful, and that's going to get people booking the call. Now, maximizing results to get more calls booked. This is super important and this is often overlooked, right? Which is the follow-up. It's maximizing the effects of the VSL. And the amazing part of a VSL within an IG growth funnel is that it's not a churn and burn thing, right? As I explained before, like the typical VSL funnel, somebody clicks through, they either watch the video there and then, or, they're going to get some emails and stuff and maybe some retargeting, but the chances are if they don't watch it there and then, they're going to be a lot less likely to watch it later on. And so it is kind of churn and burn. They either book a call straight away or they don't. And you're just playing a numbers game where it might be like 10% of leads or 20% of leads or 5%, whatever it is, come through your funnel, book a call. Some show, some don't. And, that's just the numbers game. That's what, you were kind of taught in the marketing world. But with this, they're already in conversation with you. They're in Messenger. And so that's really powerful because you can just follow up an hour or two later and just say, hey, how did you find the training? right? And they might say, oh, actually, I haven't had a chance to watch it now. I'll go watch it, right? So sometimes it's just a good prompt to remind people. I get that. I'd say 50% of the time when I'm following up with someone, they will say that. They'll be like, oh, actually, I haven't had a chance to watch it. I'll go watch it now. Or they'll say that and I'll say, okay, cool. Well, go check it out. And like kind of just push them to go watch the video. Right. So you get a lot more views on your video, which means they're going to see the call to action and potentially book a call that way. And then the other thing you can do is just follow up and just say, do you think that this would help you reach your goals? And you can make this a bit more specific. Like if they have talked to you in Messenger about a certain goal, like, hey, I want to grow $1 million business, or hey, I want to save my marriage, or I want to lose 20 pounds, whatever it is, right? Do you think this would help you reach that goal? If they say yes, then be like, okay, great. Well, how about we just jump on a quick call and put a game plan together to help you do that? It's a really simple call to action. And 9 out of 10 times, if you get to this point in this conversation, people are just going to say yes. They're going to be open to it by this point. You've had a conversation. If you've gone through the previous trainings on my channel that I've been through on this, on how to set through DMs, on how to nurture people, and then through this process with the VSL, you can have really qualified and specific people that you're chatting to. So they're going to be much more likely to say yes. Now, there is going to be a percentage of people that go through, they watch your training and they don't do anything, right? They don't reply, they ghost you, you feel like they're lost forever. But then that's where your organic strategy comes to scoop people up. Retargeting as well is really good. So I always put out different trainings and resources. Like anytime I do a YouTube video, I'll promote it in my stories. But what I will do is rather than just send people directly to a link, I'll say, hey, message me this keyword and I'll send you the link. And I get people who have gone through 5, 6 of my trainings sometimes before they actually properly engage and have a conversation with me or reply to my offer. And that's just the game. You're going to get some people that book in straight away. You're going to get some people that are a little bit slower. It might take them a month, 2 months. You're going to get people that take 6 to 12 months to actually sign up and work with you. So it's really important that we're building these pools of people. We're not just relying on this small percentage that book straight away, but we're actually following up, we're doing our due diligence, and we're actually providing value long term. Again, we're like growing our brand, our personal brands. We're not just doing this to churn and burn leads. And so when you have this marketing strategy in place, this is really, really effective. It gives you consistency and sustainability when you're scaling as well. So really, really valuable. So if you found this useful, make sure you hit the like, subscribe to the channel. And also, if you do want to check out my offer and you want me to build this whole strategy out for you in your business, run the ads, provide the content, script the VSL, help you script a DM setting script, then click the link below. It's going to take you to my own VSL. You can see how my offer works. And then from there, you can make an informed decision if you want to book a call or not. So hopefully you found this super useful, and I'll see you in the next one.